this is Wanda.
And this is Paula from Alanda Craft.
And today we're going to show you how to scan images using your ScanNCut. So we turn on our machine. And we're going to go to the scan icon. You'll see here there's three methods of scanning into the machine. There's scan with its direct cut, which will scan an image, and then you'll select which image on a piece of paper that you want, or your fabric, and it'll cut that image. You can scan to cut data, which means you're just going to scan the image into the machine for use at a later date, and there's also scan to USB. Now before we get started we need to look at our settings. Now because we're using paper, we set our cut pressure to 0. We've got our cut speed at 2. So go OK. So now we'll get started. Oh, and we have our blade set at 4. We've just got our standard blade and it's set at 4. So what we're going to do is remove the protective layer from our mat, and we're going to add.
So we're just using a standard mat here.
Yes, and we're just going to.
And this is just a piece of scrapbooking paper. There are some limitations to what you can do with this direct cut. It will only see so much, so you really have to be picky about which bits of what types of images you use. So you put the mat in, and you always press the button up the top there to load it.
And we're going to go to direct cut, so what it'll do is it'll scan this whole sheet, then we'll select one of the images to cut.
Yeah, so don't be afraid that when it says direct cut, it's not going to cut straight away, it's just going to scan first. You can see it going through the scanner there. Okay, and on the screen here you'll see it's starting to find it. It has. So once you've done that, you click on OK. And you can see there how it's found various parts of the image. It hasn't found everything. That's the limitations of this. It will only find certain things depending on how well it looks. So we will choose one of these. So we might go with probably the big hello up there. This one here. And what you do is click and hold it and drag. See if we can get that in right. And you have to wait for it to see how it generates the outline. It can be fiddly. That's it. So if you go, see how it's generated the black outline, that's what you want to wait for to see that happen. So we go OK, and there you go, it's got the outline there. So click cut now, and then the start button, and away it goes. Click OK and eject the mat. And there you go. So there you go, that's how you direct cut on scrapbooking paper or any sort of paper.
I'll show you another example.
Yeah, we'll show another one, yeah. This again is just scrapbooking. This is a little bit thicker. Load the mat. And then we're back to direct cut again. So again, it just scans first, always scans first before it cuts anything.
We were always a bit weary at the start because we thought it was going to cut straight away, but we realised that we'll scan it first and give you those options to choose what you want.
So it always takes a bit of time to recognise what's been scanned. Alright. You can see again, it's only done so many on there. So it will depend. Sometimes you can rescan it and it will show a bit more. But we don't want to do the whole screen here. We might just do a line. You always have to wait for it before you press the buttons again for that black outline, otherwise it just won't move. It should be alright, so let's go OK and see what it's done. See how it's made that little mess on the end there? We'd probably have to go back and just drag it in so we just have... Like I say, sometimes if you rescan you'll get a different thing again, so OK. There you go, there's 4 of them there, so we might cut those.
Just make sure that your paper is actually sticking to your mat, which a little bit of a problem there.
Okay, so we go cut and start. There you go, look at that. So let's cut them out perfectly. Okay, so you can see how that works. So it's quite good, it works quite well for scrapbooking paper, but again there's limitations on certain things. You might put hundreds of different scrapbooking sheets through and only, you know, a small number of them will actually scan, or it will only recognise the image. Here's one more.
Just show you a few so it gives you an idea of some of the types that do work. We have an awful lot of papers that don't work. Okay, so place our sheet in again.
So you always load the mat first, so you always press that button to load the mat there. You see this is a more intricate design, so
I'll just press that down a bit harder.
So again it's recognising over here. Okay. And you see that it's only found so many. It's found a little butterfly there, so we might just focus in on this little tiny butterfly. See if we can do that. Just to show you if it can do this or not. It's really tiny little designs. That's it, it's found it. See the black outline? Okay, let's see how that's gone. Press OK. And you can see it's got another little blob under there. We need to drag it around a little bit more. That's it. Okay. You can see how very... There we go. So that's a tiny little butterfly. Okay. So now we go cut. There you go, look at that.
So now we're going to direct cut from a piece of fabric. So we now have our standard mat. Just remove the covering. And this is the mat that we have the fabric.
Yeah, you need a fabric mat on top of it, so you'll need one of those in order to do this.
Okay, so put our piece of fabric on here. And we'll turn on our machine. And we're going to go to our little
Settings.
wrench or whatever it is, the settings, and we're going to put the cut pressure for the fabric up to 4.
And we also change our cut speed to 1 usually. We like to just keep it a little bit slower.
Okay, our knife is going to stay the same, or our blade is going to stay at 4.
Yep.
Right, so again we're going to press the scan and we're going to press direct cut. Okay.
So as always, it just will scan first before it cuts anything.
Okay, so you can see it's picked up a number of shapes, so we'll just select one.
And well, you usually have to wait now until it generates again. Notice there's no black there. As soon as it hits the black outlines, then you can click again and drag. If you click too early, it just won't drag. See, it's again, here we go, click, hold and drag it. Okay, see how that's gone. There we go, so it's got the shape. So now we can go cut and start. And there you go. So that's how you cut shapes.
Out of fabric.
Out of fabric, yep.